Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick, Councilwoman Freeman, Councilman Perdicone,
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo,
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
I'll make just a quick report on my behalf, and then we're gonna do, we'll go around and do some of the department head, reports. I just wanna reach out, I was at the ribbon cutting yesterday for Joshua Park. Very moving, to say the least. And thank to Aaron and the DPW for, putting that park together and do all the work over there. It was, the parents were there. It was a very moving, but it's something the whole community can use in the future. It needed upgrading, and it was a really, really moving ribbon cutting. The parents, I talked to them both, and it was really nice that the town did that. They're very appreciative of the community, the town, our supervisor Fitzpatrick, and the DPW for doing it. The only thing that I could say works, I saw it on video, I didn't see it. I saw Greg Champion go down one of the slides. So the slide does work. That's all I saw. He came flying out of there. So he didn't do it. He was there, but he didn't do it. But I saw it on video. So, but, very appreciative of the parents. It's one of those, when you dedicate a park to a child under circumstances that brought that about, I think it was very moving. So, with that, we'll go through and do some reports from our department heads. Kevin, we could start out with you.
Thank you. IT's just looking to kind of wind down the year. We do have 3 projects still in the hopper, HR, software for time and attendance and payroll, the financial system. We did launch the recreation site, so that's fully up and running. Want to extend my gratitude towards the recreation department and especially Megan Hoffman for all the hard work they put in to make that a success. So we're just looking to move forward with other projects and streamlining the help desk to kind of shorten help tickets a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Anything? All good? Okay. Aaron?
Yes, thank you. DPW, we're 100% ready for winter whenever it decides to come at us, and all the trucks are ready to go. In the meantime, we're still wrapping up our outdoor projects. We're still trimming trees and fixing sewers and things of that nature. We are still working on a coordination with Monroe County on the new snow and ice agreement. So earlier this year, they came out with that they were changing the equipment rates to line up with the FEMA equipment rates, and the snow and ice agreements are with all of the towns throughout the county that Monroe County pretty much contracts with to plow their roads. So that will be forthcoming here hopefully soon, that all the towns can come to an accord with the county for that agreement.
Okay. Any questions? Kimmy? Peter? Good? Okay. Mary? Building?
Thank you. Continuing to wrap up for year end, filing, boxing all our old permits so they can go up in the attic for storage to give us more room for new. Been a little challenge staff-wise the last few weeks, but staff is chipping in and we're getting it done.
Okay. Any questions? Anything? Good? Okay. Shannon?
Good afternoon. Thank you. We were excited to be able to launch the new year-round market space last weekend, and thank you for everyone who came and participated in the ribbon cutting and the holiday mini fest that took place last weekend. We will be operating the first Thursday of each month moving forward, beginning the first Thursday in January. And then come May 30th, we'll start our weekly sessions, also each Thursday of the month through October 10th. And then we will resume our one Thursday a month. That's the tentative plan right now. But everyone can look forward to in January starting first Thursday of the month at the new market space. The Ion Irondequoit activity guide has been finalized and should hit mailboxes at the end of this week or early next week, so look for that in mailboxes. We will also have it on the town website and the recreation website, and we will also post it on all of our social media accounts. And next big event that Recreation Department and Special Events is planning for is the Winterfest event on February 10th here at the Town Hall campus. So looking forward to that as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Pete, all good? Okay. Chief?
Thanks. Yeah, we just started 2 brand new recruits in the academy. They were obviously a welcome addition so far. So that's going to be a good few months before they get out on the road. Probably about May, we'll get them out there and be ready to go. We're looking at one retirement here in January. We already have a lateral in place that we think we're going to have a replacement for him. So that should be pretty good. Looking at a regular staffing as far as our civilian staff. Once we get through all this end of the year stuff, we'll start the whole process of going through a selection process and actually making hopefully a promotion and go through there. So we'll do that. We just last weekend we had our first Cops for the Community Cupboard event out here in the parking lot. I think it was a huge success. Actually, it was great. We brought all of our vehicles out there. We had probably had about 15 to 20 officers volunteer their time. We accepted gently used coats, brand new hats, gloves, non-perishable goods for the community cupboard. We were there for 2 hours. We had all the kids there. We had Santa Claus. We had Chick-fil-A giving away all their good stuff. So we filled up the whole back of our Humvee with donated goods, and we actually went over there today and dropped it off. And I think I made her cry. So it was a wonderful event. I couldn't thank everybody enough as far as all my staff for helping out, getting this together all last minute, and it was wonderful. Hopefully next year we'll make it even bigger. And this weekend we have Shop of the Cop, so we're going to keep that going. We are going to be meeting up at the rec center, meeting our 15 kids, all students from the various Irondequoit schools, and we are going to be going out with our gift cards, going shopping with them, coming back to the rec center, wrapping presents with them, having pizza, and kind of continuing that. So it's great. We're looking at our goals for next year, putting together everything that we're looking forward to as far as continuing all our community engagement, some different things, getting that archery program going. Also getting our peer support program, taking care of our officers from inside. So that's really what I want to concentrate on. And then obviously getting our canines up to speed. So still got a lot of work getting that stuff together, but we're working hard each day. So I think we're doing well.
Any questions? Peter? Saw you on the commercial, Chief. You missed your calling.
You know what?
Acting might be your second, your second job there.
They were gracious enough to donate a vehicle, so I said absolutely.
Well, yeah, you had
you
to.
want.
No, good job, though. Yeah, that was very appreciative, too. So,
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. No questions. Barbara?
The town clerk's office is looking forward to the town and county 2024 taxes coming in. They will be beginning payment of those January 2nd. And we're looking to really clean up the department and go through files and put what can upstairs. So we just want to use this time to organize. And working with the Human Resource Department for staffing.
Okay. Any questions for Barb? Megan?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Supervisor. So typically I break up the report from the attorney for the town into two categories. I'm going to add a third today, but it'll be quick, I promise. So, as you've seen for the past year, department heads have been very diligent in identifying portions of the code that need to be modified some. And so, we're continuing that process. There will be a public hearing, there will be a resolution with regard to the short-term rental public hearing that was held in November that will be on for the board's consideration for next week. As for ongoing litigation, the only remaining Freeman lawsuit has been scheduled for argument on the defendant's motion for default judgment. That'll be held on January 31st. And that means that any response is due 7 days prior to that. And there has been some new litigation that's been filed with regard to I-Square. I think everyone might be familiar with that, given the news reports. There was a temporary restraining order request that was made as part of that initial filing. The court did hear the attorneys at a conference last Friday. That temporary restraining order was in fact granted in part. And because it was granted in part, that means that the people who are living in the cottages there on Lorraine Drive are, it's going to be easier for EMS and fire personnel to get to those cottages in case of an emergency, which was the town's main concern, the health and safety of the people within the town of Arundecoit. So that's a good sign. There will be some additional briefing on that and additional arguments heard mid-January. So I'll continue to update the board as that happens. And then there was, in fact, one other piece of litigation regarding I-Square. There was a sign that was not compliant with the town code, and Judge Russi issued a decision yesterday, in fact, confirming that and ordering that that the owner of I-Square, Mr. Nolan, pay the town a fine of $250 for that violation. So that's all I've got. Oh, I'm sorry, the third.
And remove the sign or just pay the fine?
Oh, the sign can't stay up. My understanding is that right now there is no sign because there were Christmas trees that were going to be for sale. There's no text to the sign anyhow. The structure might be there. And the dispute really was over, was it a for sale sign or not? So ask me why does not constitute a call to action along the lines of a for sale sign. So that's what the court determined. And then the third item is just, I wanted to bring to the board's attention. I apologize, I didn't make it onto the agenda, but we are going to be putting forth a resolution next week that will extend the contract with Arundecoit Ambulance. So we're just working out the details of the contract right now, but that will be up for the board's consideration next week.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Go ahead.
And Megan, that contract will be in line with the budget, is that correct?
That's exactly right, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Pete? Anything?
And there's been no progress in the I-Square permit applications or compliance, just the lawsuit?
Right, so the lawsuit was because Mr. Nolan wasn't.
I just didn't know if that spurred any action on the behalf of the,
None that I'm aware of, and just judging by the comments that were made during the temporary restraining order conference last week, Mr. Nolan continues to resist everything that the town is doing, so.
Anything else? No? Diana?
Thank you. In the comptroller's office, we're gearing up for our last check run of the year. Also for year end, we do have our audit scheduled for March of 2024 for the 2023 year. We're still working on our new financial system. Hopefully we'll have that going. That's really about it.
Okay. I guess you can go right into financial then. Any questions for Diana, anything? Okay, we'll go right into financial.
So the 2023 financial results as of November 30th. 91.7% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses, actual expenditures, and encumbrances of $35,996,000 are lower than budget at 82.8%. Actual expenses are $34,298,000, or 78.9% of budget, and encumbrances are $1,698,000, or 3.9% of budget. The general fund total expenses of approximately $22,435,000 are below budget at 81.7%. Actual expenditures total $21,513,000, and encumbrances are $923,000. Encumbrances within the general fund include the EMS services contract, general street lighting, and legal fees. Overall, the total expenses of the three highway funds are $6,388,000, or 97.7% of budget, higher than the, higher than the 91.7% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures of $6,007,000 represent 91.9% of budget, and encumbrances total $381,000 and account for 5.8% of budget. The costs are driven by expenses and encumbrances for fuel, road salt, equipment parts, and road paving. The current library expenditures are $2,389,000, or 85.5% of budget. Expenses in the sewer fund of $3,087,000 are below budget at 70.3%, with actual expenditures equating to $2,921,000, or 66.6% of budget, and encumbrances at $166,000. Stormwater drainage expenses are approximately 58% of budget, a total of $549,000. The general fund has received revenue of $22,988,000, or 90.8% of budget. Real estate tax of $12,007,000 has been collected. The town has recorded 8 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $4,754,000, or 83.4% of budget. The aid and incentive to municipalities payment of $613,000 has been received, and recreation receipts of $650,000 represent 110% of budget. At month end, the library has confirmed revenue of $2,811,000, 100% of budget. 75.2%, or $4,908,000 of highway revenue has been received. The sewer fund has received 99% of its revenue at $4,330,000. Stormwater drainage has verified 99.6% of budgeted revenue at $884,000. Regarding the entire town, $38,123,000, or 90% of revenue and appropriated fund balance has been received to date. Approximately $18,260,000 is from real estate tax. In addition, American Rescue Funds of $22,454,000 have been received. To date, approximately $19,720,000, or 87.8%, has been allocated to projects. Of the allocated funds, 55% has been expensed, 45.8% expensed, and 8.9% remains encumbered. This concludes the financial report for November 2023.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Peter? Okay. Thank you, Diana. Barbara?
For approval of minutes, there's going to be 3 sets. November 9th, the special town board meeting, public hearing. November 14th was the workshop, and November 21st was the regular town board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
So, at the meeting next Tuesday evening, there's going to be 2 public hearings. The first one is rezoning 1700 Hudson Avenue, and from an R4 residential to a C business district. And there's 2 resolutions that go along with that.
Okay, any questions on the, go ahead.
I would be happy
Okay, sure,
to
go
give
ahead.
the board some additional
Sure.
detail about that. So you'll recall that Ms. Nichols had talked about this at the last board meeting, and when we set the public hearing for next Tuesday. And this is a split-zoned parcel, which are particularly thorny to deal with from a development perspective. So by rezoning this, It will be more business friendly. It will allow there to be ample parking for this particular use that's being contemplated. So these two resolutions do two things. The first is that it talks about the seeker compliance. Because it is an administrative act, just the rezoning, there's no kind of detail that goes along with it. That is, it's a type 2 action, so no further seeker review will be necessary. Let me confirm that. My apologies. Nope, there will be a negative declaration. So we will be saying that there will be no environmental impact from it because it is primarily just an administrative determination. So it will be actually an undetermined. And the second one is just approving the rezoning. So it will be consistent with the other properties that surround it.
Okay. Any questions on that? Peter, Kimmy, anything?
So we're not gonna get any secret paperwork, is that what you're saying? We don't need to go down that road?
So, no, there will be a negative declaration, so that will follow. I don't believe that it's in the board materials. I've let Ms. Nichols know that. And there will need to be
So we will need to vote a negative declaration on the
that is exactly right.
We're going
and
to be
it's
doing
unlisted.
seeker on the same night as the public hearing?
That's what's being proposed.
Yeah, it's being proposed.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
If there's public input, Peter, if there's questions and concerns, we can certainly wait until January.
I know I have questions and concerns.
Right.
And I'm not ready to do seeker after hearing what the applicant is on the night that we hear it.
Right. So I don't think we have to. I think that's just what's going to be in front of us. So when,
I mean, I want to hear what I have concerns, I guess, and I don't have a presentation from the applicant, nor have we heard from the public, which we may not hear anything, but there may be, I can't imagine this personally, a scenario where I would be in favor of doing seeker on the night of the public hearing in this case.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah, that's fine.
totally fair. If you want to table the resolution, that is absolutely.
we can just make a
something
motion
you
to
can do.
table.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, second public hearing?
Second public hearing is regarding the placement of a traffic control device at Keswick Road.
Aaron, Chief?
Yes, sir. This was the Keswick Orchard Park neighborhood where we did the speed. We had the complaints for speeding down there, and we did the actual speeds survey studies down there. And now we're trying to enact a three-way stop sign right down there. So I think it'll definitely drastically cut down on, some of the public safety issues down there.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this?
Did we get comments from the Monroe County DOT?
Yeah, we did our speed study. We didn't really get too much back from them other than the fact that the placement of the stop signs would definitely have a positive impact on traffic calming. I guess that's the term that they use.
Okay, thank you.
Peter, anything? Good?
Yep.
Okay, Chief, thank you. Okay, Barb?
Okay, moving on to items for board action, we have appointments to the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals.
3, 4, okay.
Sorry,
Well,
HR
this
person not here?
Mary, you want to speak on? Yeah, sure, there's 1, 2, 3, looks like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
on
there's
here.
7 of them.
Okay,
So the first resolution would fill a member position that's become available on the Arundequoit Planning Board. The position was advertised, interviews were done. Town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. David Rosso to serve a 5-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028.
Okay, any questions on any of these?
So these are, I mean, I was looking at the planning board, I thought, terms when they're expiring, and I didn't realize there were this many coming up at this point. They're usually every couple-year term. I mean, why is the cycle there so many this time? Did some people step down?
You know what, I'm not sure the answer to that. Megan, do you?
I could probably give some additional information. Yes, some of these are filling vacancies that existed. My understanding is that there was a whole slew of applications that came in earlier in 2023. There were a couple rounds of interviews, and once Labella and town staff were able to make recommendations, they were put forward. So several of them are for vacancies, and I think that each individual resolution addresses whether it's to fill a vacancy or there's an expiration of a term, because they are staggered terms for these.
Most of them said open position, but I think one was a reappointment, but.
One is a reappointment, yep. And the rest might be open positions,
And I
meaning
know
that there's a vacancy.
the new supervisors leaving that board, is that included, or was the replacement?
Would be for him as well, yes.
Okay, Mayor?
Okay, the next resolution is to fill a member position that's become available on the Arundecoit Planning Board. The position was advertised, interviews were done, and town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. Dan Yanish to serve a 7-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2030.
Okay.
The third one, resolution, is to fill a member position that's become available on the Arundecoit Planning Board. Position was advertised, interviews were done. Town staff in LaBella recommend Ms. Shelley Hafner to serve a 2-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. The next one is to fill a vacancy for an alternate member on the Arundecoit Planning Board. The position was advertised. Several applicants were interviewed. Town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. Brad Huber to serve the term beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. The next resolution is a vacancy that exists for a member on the Arundecoit Zoning Board of Appeals. The position was advertised. Applicants were interviewed. Town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. Andrew Evans to serve the term beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027. The next resolution is for the current term of Mr. Bradley Upson on the Zoning Board of Appeals. His term expires December 31st, 2023. We're asking that Mr. Upson be reappointed as a Zoning Board of Appeals member, with his new term being January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2030. And the final vacancy is for an alternate member on the Arundecoit Zoning Board of Appeals. The opening was advertised, applicants were interviewed. Town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. Greg Devlin to serve the term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on any of those?
No, but I would say, Mary, thank you to you and the staff at LaBella for this much-needed filling of these vacancies. It's been a thing for a while, so thank you.
Absolutely.
It's good to see the interest as well, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Barb?
The next is resolutions from Community Development. There's 3 of them. The first one is ratifying new policies and procedures.
Mr. Deputy Supervisor, I'd be happy to
Sure,
speak
go
to
ahead.
this in Ms. Nichols' absence today. So, as the board is likely aware, the Department of Community Development has seen some turnover in the last several years, and so Labella was brought in to help figure out, what are the best policies and procedures. Without that institutional knowledge, it can be difficult. So to have something written is what the goal was. And so what's being presented to you today is the culmination of a lot of that work, the very valuable input from the fire marshal, Bill Lang, and so this is just for the board's consideration next week, that this will be the organization and kind of the basic procedures for that department.
Okay, any questions? I'm certainly sure this has been going on for a while, and there's been a lot of hard work into this, so it probably took a long time, a lot of thought process to get to this, so thank you for all that. It looks like there was a lot of hard work put into this, that's for sure. Any questions? Kenny, Peter?
No, I'd say the same, John. Very much appreciate the work that's been done here, and I very much appreciate getting out of the gray and back into the black and white of things. I'm not really fond of being in the gray. I think it's a dangerous place to go in government, so thank you.
Well, it's always good to have procedures and they all can follow them, so
Yes.
that's good. Okay, Peter, all set? Okay.
Yep, looks good.
Okay. Next, please.
The second item is adopting a local law to establish a moratorium on short-term rentals.
Okay.
Happy to speak to this one as well. So you'll recall that we had the public hearing on short-term rentals last month. We were unable to have the board consider an actual resolution establishing that moratorium because we were still waiting for the county planning department to give advice on the referral. And I believe that we should get that advice later this week, so we should be in a position to fully inform the board for a vote on this next Tuesday. Again, this is just something that puts a pause on new short-term rentals for a year so that the board can, take that time and be thoughtful about considering the options.
So, Megan, does this also give our code department the opportunity to have some serious conversations with people who are running short-term rentals but are not currently on the rental registry?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a good point that you brought up, and I think that there were some comments during the public hearing that people didn't understand that they are in fact required to register short-term rentals. So that should be cleared up by now, and I believe that the Community Development Department has received many applications for the registration since the public hearing.
And I believe, one question I have, I believe if we hear nothing within 30 days from the county, I'm assuming they're okay with us moving forward with our resolution.
That would be right, yes. So if they don't respond within 30 days, then we can assume that they have no comment.
Okay, so we can go forward with this resolution on next Tuesday at the board meeting. Okay, good. Peter, anything? Good?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
The last resolution is accepting a letter of credit for Aldi.
Happy to speak to this
Yeah,
one
go
too.
ahead.
So the planning board had approved a site plan for Aldi, and part of the conditions for that site plan was that they would provide a letter of credit just for the amount of the improvements. Should something happen, that way that the town's not left with kind of a huge hole there. And so they secured a letter of credit. They have emailed us a version of it. Labella has looked at it, and they think that they're okay with it. We should be receiving the final letter of credit tomorrow, and then we'll be able to fully advise the board that, in fact, this letter of credit meets the town's criteria for letters of credit, and you can accept it, and they can go ahead and proceed with the project.
Because it looks like they're gearing up there right now, so that's a good sign, so.
And this is going to be uniformly invoked on all future commercial developments.
Certainly the code allows for that. It's at the planning board's discretion, and I would urge the planning board certainly to consider it.
Is there a way, Megan, that we can do more than urge them to consider it?
Let me talk to the attorney from
seen it
Nixon
in a
who
while.
advises the
Yes,
planning board.
this should be part of our SOPs.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we haven't
Okay.
seen something like this in a while.
Yeah. Thank you.
That seems like a fair application of the law.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why
It happens everywhere else.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think we've just missed that, so maybe getting that cleaned up will be important.
And I wouldn't want one development to be charged a letter of credit and the next
Nobody else.
not.
Correct, yeah, I agree. Got to be fair with all of them.
Okay.
Duly noted. Okay, Barb?
Next resolution is from Comptroller, allocating funding and authorizing the purchase of flooring and installation for the police department.
Diana?
This resolution would appropriate $8,242 of general fund balance to replace the flooring in the police department roll call room. 3 quotes were obtained, and Bayside, I think it was Bayside Flooring had the lowest bid. Yep, Bayside Flooring with the lowest bid.
No, Chief, just, when we saw Home Depot and Lowe's, that was just for material?
Yeah, that
Or
was.
were they
actually,
gonna
that-
install as well, too?
Actually, that was just carpeting. Actually,
Okay.
this is going to be for commercial grade LPV flooring. So
Okay.
it's going to be water resistant or waterproof and obviously durable.
Yeah.
And
Man, I was
easily-
just going to ask you if that was waterproof tile.
Yeah, we'll make sure of that.
Yeah, they got to.
And I was sure you weren't going to know the answer to that question. If I had to bet, I would have lost that one.
I got you, buddy. Yeah.
Chief,
it's,
are we only doing the roll call room
yes, the roll call room right now.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of. Other
Yeah, because your whole
plans.
floor over there is a hot mess.
Yeah, but.
Okay,
It works.
okay. It's a start, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Barb?
The police have 5 resolutions. The first is the purchase of drones.
Okay. Yeah, the first one is actually this is an expansion for our technicians unit. These aren't drones for surveillance. These are drones actually for more crime scene. They're going to be outfitted with actually ability to zoom in. They have night vision. They also have thermal vision. They have extended wear time. We can actually fly them in inclement weather. Obviously, the main thing would be crime scene preservation and documentation, but with we wanted to upgrade to the thermal vision, so if there was a case that we needed to do a search for a missing child, missing vulnerable person, obviously we have a lot of wooded areas in the town here, so being able to put that drone up instead of a helicopter is a lot more cost effective, and our officers would be able to sit there and fly them right from here, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw this used on the news not too long ago for missing persons. It seems like very
Yep.
effective, so.
Correct, yeah,
But-
it's so much more cost efficient than a
Yeah.
helicopter, and we can, like I said, it's minimal
Sure.
training. Our officers will actually be, we're actually finishing up their licensing through the FCC, and so they'll be able to be used for everything from, we will even be able to use them for parades. We could do them for any of the professional stuff that we need for the town.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
I was just going to ask if the police had to be licensed pilots to use the drones, and I think you're saying that they were undergoing that.
Yes, yeah. It all depends on what type of drone you're using. There are other drones that are handheld that TAC teams use to actually clear houses instead of putting a robot in. But these drones at the altitudes they will be flying will definitely need to be licensed.
Okay, thank you.
Got all the answers today. Very well prepared, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome, sir.
The next one is attendance at the Supervisor Leadership Institute.
Hey, Chief?
Yep. This is for actually the one part of the FBI law enforcement executive leadership training. I'm actually picking 2 first-line supervisors. It's kind of obviously it was one of my goals to promote training, and obviously some of the supervisors, not a lot of supervisor training out there. but having the benefit of being able to attend the FBI National Academy, knowing the caliber of the training that we bring together, this course is actually being hosted by Syracuse PD, and there's 2 spots that are available right there. So it's a good course, good start to get some good perspectives and actually have our bosses get some good feedback from other departments other than just here in the Rochester area. So it's a good way to challenge them and actually develop them.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Good. Okay.
Their third resolution is attendance at Daigle Law Group's year-long supervisor monthly online training.
Yes, this is going to be for all of my command staff, all the way up, including myself. It's going to be monthly training, everything from case law for adjudicated cases, everything up to ethics training. The Daigle Law Group is based out of Connecticut, but they are pretty much country renowned in the work that they do with police departments. This is it's actually quite cheap, I want to say, as far as ongoing monthly training. Everything's always updated. Officers can actually do the training at their own time. They can stop and actually, if they have to go to a call or have to go to another job, they can come back and finish it at any other time. And it's just a way to keep the bosses on the cutting edge of what's happening legally across the country, across the state, and also, like I said, if they're educated about the laws, they can make the best educated decisions for what's best for the town. So I think it's very important.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions? Okay.
Next one is purchase of 2 2024 Ford Police Interceptor SUV to be used by the police department.
Yep, and this is just something that's going to be our routine annual replacement of a couple vehicles, trying to actually update our fleet. Some of the vehicles in our fleet are becoming a lot older, and so we would just want to make sure that we're giving the officers safe vehicles to patrol in.
What's the delivery on this stuff, Chief? What are you hearing?
With the auto workers strike, we're looking probably May or June.
Yeah,
So we put the order in now, and every department across the country is behind the same thing. Also, Ford has been delaying their 2025, so their 2024 vehicles are actually 2023 vehicles. They haven't changed anything because they're looking to redo a lot of the interior. They're actually trying to pioneer. I talked to their rep out at the Fleet Services. The way that we have our separate computer and screen inside the car right now takes up a lot of space. Ford is actually looking to integrate the electronics and touch screen so that it'll actually be in the dash. So our CAD system will actually interact right with that, the vehicle electronics. So hopefully we can take out some of that clutter in the cabin, be more comfortable for the officer, but also safer. During a crash, those just break bones, and so that's something we want to avoid for our police officers.
Very good. Any questions? Nope. Okay. One more, Barb.
I have
Oh, I do have a couple that I'm actually walking up here, so Barb actually is handing them out to you. I apologize. It's been a flurry of activity to try and get some of these resolutions in. We've been working very hard.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I have the last one there I have is the Durango,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Purchase of 1 Dodge Durango Pursuit all-wheel drive to be used by the police department's K-9 unit.
Yes, sir. This is a continuation. Obviously, Vision Automotive gave us the other one. We were able to actually find a state contract Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicle at a local dealership, and we're able to actually take delivery of it right after January. So that'll be great. We'll get it in hand, and then we're able to get all of our those 2 resolutions that are up there for equipment to get the vehicles up to speed, so that we can get these vehicles ready to accept the dogs in end of February and be ready for the K-9 school starting in March.
Okay. So obviously, the one you got from Vision is for K-9, obviously, and then this
Yes.
one is also going to be.
Yes, also.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any questions?
No.
Okay, we got your resolutions, Barb just gave them to us.
Okay. I don't know, do I read them off, or is that for you, Barb?
This is the purchase of 2 inserts for the Police Department K-9 unit.
Correct. Those are the cages that actually go in the back seats of the vehicles. We take the back seats out, and the cage goes in. It's for the safe transportation of the dog, also to keep them contained. Also, in the event of a crash, the dogs are able to stay safe.
Okay.
And then there's the purchase of 2 K-9 hot and pot Pro combination temperature alarm and deployment systems.
Correct, yeah. So these have to be specially hand-built for the vehicles. They call it hot and pop, so they're heating and air conditioning for the dogs and back. Obviously, we see when people leave their animals locked in their cars at the stores. We can't leave our dogs locked in there without the vehicles running. So this is a temperature sensor that actually controls the temperature inside the vehicle for the animals. If they do get too hot or too cold, each canine handler will have an application on their cell phone, which will set off an alarm so they know that something's going on. But at the same time, it also automatically opens up the doors so the dogs are able to escape, get out, and let them know, so that they don't become overheated or pass away. The other thing it also is there's an emergency button that will be on an officer's person. In case they get into a use of force and they need help, they can actually hit the button and the dog will be self-released from the vehicle to be able to protect the officer right there. So it's pretty standard issue for all K-9 units.
Any questions?
There's a number of proposals in here, and only one of them is articulated on the cover.
So there's these, pretty much the standard across the board is the one that you probably have. They are probably the best. There's other ones that people kind of just hodgepodge together. This is the company that you see there. They are pretty much the standard.
Well, there's Ace K9, then there's another Ace K9, then there's a PAR, then there's a PAR, then there's an Elite K9.
Yeah, Ray Allen Manufacturing is pretty much, I would say, the industry standard. So there's the one from Ray Allen Manufacturing would be the cheapest one for us, be able to get it the quickest. The problem is they don't pre-make these cages beforehand, so that's the lead time. They actually have to laser cut all the metal, do all that stuff, powder coat it, everything to get it out there because the interior vehicles are changing from manufacturers, every couple years. So they want to make sure that these are as custom fit as possible. So, like I said, we don't want to have.
But the resolutions were $3,073.03, and that's the first quote, but then there's multiple quotes afterwards.
Yeah, so there's the one quote there is also for extra equipment that we need. I'm sorry if that quote. So Ray Allen Manufacturing, we are actually getting quotes for the rest of our equipment, bite sleeves, leads, everything else that we're going to need for K9 handlers. And I apologize if that one quote has the rest of the equipment on there. All we're doing is just looking at that one quote for the insert itself.
Okay.
So the rest of these quotes will be coming?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So come January, I'll have another list of all the rest of the police equipment that we need to outfit the K-9 units.
So just a question for me. So we have 2 vehicles, excuse me, then they're going to get fully equipped, right? And then they're ready for the dogs, correct?
Correct.
So it'll take a while to equip the vehicles, or?
Yeah, so as soon as we've obviously got the one that's parked behind our headquarters, and once we get the other one in, they're already, the light systems, the emergency light systems, the computer systems are being ordered through Monroe County. Everything's already being ordered so that as that comes in, we can, we already talked to our people over at DPW, and they're ready to start the work as soon as we get the equipment in for them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. There's a good buzz around town about it too, chief, so it's good. Very
So are
good.
these other quotes, the 3 quotes that you were getting, and then you're only picking the one, or, I mean, I think you should just go through this packet and just make sure that it's what you want.
Okay. Yeah. It's definitely I see.
It's the first one, correct?
Yeah, we have Auto Solutions. I'm sorry. We have Auto Solutions. We have East Coast Emergency Lighting. Havas General Transport System. Yep. And then the Ray Allen Manufacturing. So, yep. All we're doing is looking at the inserts on those right there. So here's another thing I try to do with the K-9 officers. I was trying to develop them to try and learn the purchasing system of the town and learning how to get quotes. It's one of these things where I can't do it all myself, so I need to actually develop my people. So when I gave out my instructions, maybe they might not have been as clear as possible, but they, it's a learning process for them, and quite frankly, they're going to be our supervisors in the future. So, I mean, I'm not going to be here forever, so it might be one of them sitting in this seat here. So I can get those quotes cleaned up for you if there's any questions.
Make sure it's what you want, because there's more stuff here than what is on the cover.
Yeah.
And there's 2 options with the one
Yep,
you said,
absolutely.
and
Yep, I'll make sure it's done. But I appreciate the input.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Okay, Barb.
Okay,
Public Works.
the next 4 resolutions are under Public Works. The first one is authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement for Monroe County all-seasons work in the Monroe County right-of-ways.
Aaron?
Yes, thank you. This is an annual resolution that we bring before the board this time of year. It's mainly, we do roadside mowing for Monroe County. That's basically what we use this agreement for, but there is other services that they could solicit us for den animal pickup and any other refuse in the right-of-way. It just outlines the reimbursement rate.
Okay, any questions? Okay,
Next one is awarding bid for street tree pruning.
okay, Aaron.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. The arborist labor foreman Scott Davis has spearheaded this with getting our street trees throughout town trimmed. So we went out to bid, and we broke the bid up into 4 quadrants. And Flower City Tree actually put in and won all 4 quadrants, and we spoke with them, and they are ready to do all the right-of-way trees throughout town. So upon your approval, they will start, and we gave them a deadline of Memorial Weekend.
Okay, do they take the lead from you, what to do and that? or
Yes.
It's already,
There will
okay.
be a lot of coordination with labor
Okay.
foreman Davis, and yeah.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
yes. You want to go first?
I was just going to ask the commissioner if this was going to cover the whole town.
Yes.
You mentioned breaking it up into quadrants.
We did break it up into, we took our lead from how the city of Rochester handles this. The city of Rochester puts out obviously much more quadrants, but they don't always get the same, like some companies don't, they want to do 1 or 2 quadrants, not all of them.
They don't
So
want
that's
the
just-
whole deal.
That's just how
Gotcha.
we gave people the opportunity to bid on different sections, but Flower City won it all, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we appreciate your support on this, because this has been on the radar for a bit, so we're glad we get to make it happen.
Absolutely. Sir?
So, okay. So, I mean, I thought $250,000 was a lot, and I understand how we could maybe needed to supplant our own crews and our own equipment in order to get this job done, but now it's gone up to, almost $600,000, which is a real marked increase in it, and I just was
Miss-
not,
Madam Commissioner, how many street trees are currently in the town of Arundecoit, approximately?
1,000?
How many?
I'm sorry, 10,000
10,000 trees.
Yes,
Yes.
10,000, yeah.
What do you think the average price per tree to do pruning works out to be?
Pruning's,
Apparently it's $600.
Yeah,
That would be a cheap tree.
that's very cheap.
If you've ever had your trees pruned,
Yeah.
$600 would be pretty cheap.
The companies typically charge you more.
But that's the presumption that every tree needs to be trimmed. I mean, how many of those 10,000 trees are new trees?
No, so we took out the
Yeah,
the
this is
trees that
just
were a
older
smaller caliber.
established
So that
trees.
10,000 number doesn't include new trees?
Nope.
The bigger trees, yeah.
And we received how many bids?
I try and remember, 1, 2, 4 or 5 companies put in for this. Not all of them put in for all the quadrants, but I think, I can follow up with that. I think it was about that, though.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you for taking care of that, Madam
So
Commissioner.
I will follow up with you guys with how many bids there were.
The next resolution is awarding the bid for landscaping services at various town properties.
Okay, Aaron.
So this also was a bid that went out to our landscapers around town. This would be to do the landscaping services primarily right here on the town hall campus, as well as sections of Seabreeze Drive. We took on these tasks within DPW last year, and this we feel like is a good balance to having a landscaper come in and take care of this complex and the portions of Seabreeze Drive, and then we could focus more on the parks and other areas that we just feel, this is a good balance for us, so that's why we solicited the bids.
So we used to do this, this used to go out to bid before,
So all of it went out to bid.
all of it. So you carved out some, we're keeping some in-house,
So
and then
last,
some went out to
last
bid.
year to me was kind of we also did a litmus, like a recheck, because some of it to me was past the point of maintenance, and that's what we were paying for. We were paying for maintenance of the things that was past maintenance. So we did our internal staff did some overhaul. We planted new things that we think are now at a good point to be maintained.
So I think the cemetery is a great example of that. You guys overhauled some really old plant material at the cemetery. It looks fantastic now. It doesn't have to be mulched with 6 or 10 inches of mulch. It's going to be much easier to maintain. And honestly, Madam Commissioner, I am super excited that this money's going to get spent here on this campus first, because to nobody's fault other than there's only 24 hours in a day, we had a pretty raggedy-looking town hall campus for some of our really big events, like 4th of July. So I think we owe it to the residents to make sure that this is a place that they feel welcomed at, and it is what it is. It's the town hall. Thank you.
No, I agree. Thank you.
Okay, Barb.
The next resolution is awarding a bid for Camp Eastman Phase Project and Town Hall Backyard Project.
I could speak on this one. This project went out to bid. We had a contractor walk through yesterday. It went out last week. We're gonna get the bids in on Thursday. So I'm certainly sure we'll vet all the contractors. We should have costs, awards, by our next meeting on Tuesday evening. The other thing is, we did the walkthrough through the farmer's market. There was a little stuff on the punch list, which a few things just need to be taken care of, and within the next week or so, the farmer's market will be 100% complete. So that'll be good. These bids will be in on Thursday. So we're opening the bids at 2 p.m., I believe, on Thursday. So like I said, by next Tuesday, we'll have names and costs and everything, and hopefully everything falls into budget. It's including Camp Eastman, the backyard project, and renovations of the 2 major bathrooms up here and 2 bathrooms in the courts. So we put it all under one package, makes it a little more, maybe we'll get more competition for putting it all under one bid, so.
Do we have these documents electronically somewhere where I could take a look at them?
Yeah, probably, get a hold of Chris so you probably can get them, take a look at them. That went out the bid, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can somebody at the town send me a link to where the electronic files might be
Ann
located?
could probably do
Ann.
that too as well.
We'll get it to you, Peter. Yeah.
Thank you.
The new market building, by the way, looked spectacular at the ribbon cutting, and maybe it had some things in the punch list, but I
Yeah, but
gotta
not
tell you,
much.
it was
There's not-
super well received.
Not much
Super well
cosmetic, yeah,
received.
we're well received, and I think we'll get a lot of use out of that building. It was a good idea to move forward with that, too, so.
The last resolution is from Recreation, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth, family, adult, group exercise, and senior recreational programming for winter, spring 2024.
Thank
Janet?
you.
Sorry.
This resolution will allow us to move forward with our instructor contracts for the upcoming program cycle at the community center, which runs January through May 2024, and includes instructors for group exercise, martial arts, youth dance, and sports programming at the community center.
Okay, any questions?
I do have one. Shannon, you've got varied experience from what, it seems like we could do these like every quarter or something like that, or is this the best way of doing this, like piecemealing these all out all the time? Or is there something in your other experiences that might lead to a better way of implementing, these type of?
It's a good question. In my experience, in previous organizations, everyone has different program cycles. Some do them quarterly. We do ours 3 times a year, so we run January through May, which is considered our winter, spring, and then summer, which is June through August, and then fall, which is September through December. So every organization does it a little bit differently, but for the most part, it allows you to make different programmatic changes kind of throughout the year without having to change contracts, et cetera. You can kind of vary it depending on, the feedback that you're receiving from the community and what, residents are looking for.
I guess the thing I'm asking, if there's anything that you want to improve the way you procure these type of programs, just bring it forward, I guess.
Yeah, I think it works for us now. I think in the future, we likely could look at changing up program cycles, or, how we look at our programming, or how we plan it out for the future. But for right now, it works fairly well, I think.
Okay, we have, that's our agenda for Tuesday. We have 2 board action resolutions. Barb, if you want to.
I will. Hold on. Here's my. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my paper. Here we are.
You got it, Barb? Okay.
Okay, so. The first item for board action, resolution approving the special event license for the Seabreeze Volunteer Fire Associations, Inc. It's their parade. That's going to be held December 16th. And this is being put on at the workshop as we were waiting for approval from the insurance company.
Okay, I need a motion.
Moved.
Very well attended and looked.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, any questions?
I have a
Yeah.
question. I know, Barb, you said you were waiting for something from the insurance company?
Yeah, we have everything now, the approvals.
Because this seems like super close, like we're cutting it super close. And the reason I'm asking you is I had a family commitment tonight, but I knew that if I wasn't sitting up here,
Yeah.
then we couldn't vote on this and it couldn't happen. And not that I'm like, have a lot of absences or anything, but it would be nice to have these things in a more timely fashion. And I know this is not on you, but
Well, sometimes we don't get the application in a timely manner, and then we hustle to get all the approvals in.
so that's kind of our SOP for that. We sort of just do whatever we got to do to make it work.
Well, we just work really hard because I know the residents really look forward to this event.
It's an annual event, right? Maybe we can find a way to have some ticklers out there to remind people to give us more than 5 days to
Well,
make this happen,
we're-
and it would probably make your
we've
job
been talking
easier.
about that,
Awesome.
Staff and I, to
Awesome.
see if we can push things along a little
That would
bit.
be fantastic. I don't want anybody in your office to have to be frazzled by this either, so I think we'll definitely get some kind of drip campaign going. Thank you.
Okay, I got a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And number 2, authorizing capital lease financing agreement for wheel loader with attachments for the Bureau of Public Works.
Need a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions, discussions?
This is what we couldn't vote on.
Could vote on
Last
last
month?
time, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. All good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's it for our workshop meeting. Our next meeting is going to be December the 19th, our regular town board meeting. It's 7 PM. Everyone, you have a good evening.
I'll make a motion that we
Yeah.
end our meeting.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried. Meeting is adjourned.